What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the Hunters Guild Red Hood Chapter 15 review or reaction. Realistically, there's too much to talk about. I'm just going to read the chapter. Honestly, I skimmed through the chapter just before I was starting to watch football this Sunday, and now at this point I'm like, there's a lot to talk about. Like, there's clearly stuff to go down. Maybe it won't be as bad as I think, but I remember going, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, theory time, let's go. So I think it's just better where I just did a skim read to, it's not a full reaction. I generally know what happens in the chapter, but I'm just going to read the chapter. That's what we're going to do today. So hope you guys enjoyed this different little switch up to the format. But anyway, reading on Viz.com, if you guys want to read along, we have the Hunters Guild Red Hood, chapter number 15, End of the Line. So let's see, we did it. So we're looking outside the ironworks. We did it. Finally, we passed. We have Vilu still celebrating everything. So I did it. I passed. Now I can become a hunter for real and get revenge for the mayor's death. Now we know the mayor is alive. Now, here we go. We're jumping right back to the witch and the mayor, right? Oh, looks like he passed. She seems to be looking. She's eating an apple. She's looking in the mirror. Blah, blah, blah. She's got like a foresight mirror or something like that. They're sure having fun. She's looking onto the ironworks and says, great, that does it then. The Hunters Guild is finished. All right, whoa, like automatic. Okay, so Vilu became a hunter and now the Hunters Guild is finished? Like, what is going on? What is with the storybook? What's with the tales? What's with the Grimm's fairy tales? Like, we're going somewhere very strange. I like it. I hope that this series continues so we can better understand it, because I think if handled well, none of this makes sense right now, but I think it'll all make some fourth wall breaking sense eventually. So this is where this conversation continues and says, so who's going to take care of Vilu? Me? And the mayor says, I'll do it. You nap for a time, witch. And then seemingly opens up a portal with like some smoke. Like, I think it's like blue or red smoke or something like that. It's colored in. So I'm not sure what type of like color it is, but I like to imagine this is like some red smoke or whatever. He opens up a portal to go right through, and he's flying on a magic carpet, by the way. Like, she's on a broom, she's a witch, but he's flying on a fucking magic carpet. So that's pretty cool, and he goes forward. Now, he disappears, and she says, okay, so, like, what are we going to do next, Lyacon? Huh? Wait a sec. Who's Lycon? And then, so we're like, wait a minute now. She initially went, hey, like, remember the giant werewolf? The giant fucking werewolf, one of the kings of the werewolves or whatever? And now seemingly has disappeared. Now, at first, I'm thinking, okay. At first, when I first read this, I thought, hey, wait a minute now. What if the mayor is the werewolf? Now, I know we saw him technically on the back or whatever, but, like, what's going on here? And at first, that's what I'm thinking, okay, like, he's the werewolf. When he transforms, he becomes this guy. But then I remember, like, no, we sort of saw him on the tail before and stuff like that, so that's not it. But she seemingly has lost all memories, and the werewolf has disappeared. So I'm like, the mayor has to be the werewolf then, right? Let's just wait. So, this is where we jump back to the ironworks. We get Debonair saying, "Wahaha, you got me good. I totally lost." Grim, is that the attitude of someone who lost? Well, you're going to let the ones out who are passed out cold down below pass as well. And Debonair recognizes that Grim's time is up. Like, remember, she can go adult form for so long, and then she gets hexed. Now, they aren't jailed, and they aren't cuffed. And I'm like, yeah, like, I understand what Grim's point is here. It's sort of like, well, they didn't actually contribute that much. Like, what about the people that just ran and hid the entire time? Like, technically speaking, they didn't pass anything. They didn't do anything. But it's like, but wait a minute now. They sort of, like, once again, the rules were, and Debonair's, like, pointing this out, they aren't in jail, and they aren't cuffed. Problem solved, right? Saying being unconscious doesn't count as them being arrested. According to the rules, they technically pass. I like that she put the word technically. Says, oh, well, it's all over for now. We can always retest them at a later date. And they're all like, wait, what? So this is where they walk up to Vilu and stuff like that and say, Vilu, was that all part of your plan too? Nope, just a happy accident, he says. Makes sense. Nobody bet on you KOing people. And looks up, it was difficult to get replacement cuffs. I had little other choice. Wait, says Grim. Velu's disruption plan worked out brilliantly, didn't it? And this is where Debonair says, which means everything went according to the scenario you wrote out, right? And that's what is whispered to Grim on Debonair's shoulders. Now, this is once again going into what the mayor and the witch and everybody were talking about before, is that like they're writing the story, the pages have been written, the main character, like it's like some 4D, like somebody's writing the story in universe. Like there's some grand prophecy book, and if you write in the book, you fix the thing. So very, very interesting there. Once again, another hint to that's what it can be. And Grimm apparently is also aware of writing in the pages of the book. Once again, Grimm has made, like, there's been a lot of, not puns, but a lot of acknowledgement of writing your own story, main characters, a lot of terminology from a writer's standpoint, from outside the manga universe, from pages and books and written and pass and develop, like all these things. They've been using that type of terminology. It's very interesting. This is where we see Titley joining up with the person that, and this scene makes no sense. Not gonna lie, this scene makes no sense, and I'll tell you why. Because he's like become a hunter or whatever. He's the jailer in this particular boat, but he's technically a hunter, and he says, "Hi there, it's been a while, you bastard. Oh, you two know each other. Yeah, he's the one who caused me a lot of problems in my previous exam. Hi." So this is the guy that betrayed them, and then they both lost. Like, so it's like, I understand why Tiddly, like why he was acting the way he was acting in this exam, and why he feels this way now. Of course he wouldn't like this bastard. Realistically, meeting up with this bastard this early is sort of odd, but I'm like, okay, because the way they developed, I'm just going to say I don't like this, because here's what it goes down. Let's just get into it. He says, he tried his best to murder me, you know. In the end, we both failed. And he said, oh my, I came back to try again when he didn't, and that time I passed. So basically, he was pissed off because he betrayed him. They both lost. He tried to kill him or whatever. He tried to murder him or whatever. Maybe that's an exaggeration, or maybe not. Either way, justified there. And then he basically says, so when he didn't come back to be retested, that's when I went and passed. So it's like, what a dick. What a prick, right? So he says, hey, Titley says, hey, Grimm scouted me and you started it, remember? And they're saying, now, we both got a case of tunnel vision at the end there. I mean, yeah, they both wanted to pass, but you betrayed him. Tiddly even says it. And he doesn't acknowledge that he betrayed him. It was the other way. So he says, but this time you were able to trust others. And Tiddly said, I trusted you back then too. And I'm like, right. It's like, you were the cause of the problem. Like, this guy's acting like, but this time, unlike the last time you failed, you were able to believe and trust in others. It's like, I did that last time, you prick. You're the reason I had a trust issue this time. You're the cause. You are all the reason for that. And so he says, I trusted you back then too. And we see a small flashback there. And then it says, and that made me scared. I didn't want to be betrayed. I got suspicious. So I let that trust just slip away. All justified. And then, but the jailer says, oh well, you passed this time, so that's good. I look forward to working with you again. Tiddly says, sure, I guess. What? What the fuck? That makes no goddamn sense. Like, this asshole betrayed you, you failed the exam, as a result of this guy's betrayal, caused you trust issues, you might have failed this exam had Velu and Bonkers and everyone not snapped you out of it and said, listen, I know what happened last time, that dude's a piece of shit, I understand why you have a hard time trusting people, but seriously, we're not like him. Then this guy comes up, oh, good job for passing. It's like, first it's, hey, you son of a bitch, and then it's like, yeah, well, I guess since we're both hunters, water under the bridge. No, not water under the bridge. This dude's a prick. Treat him like one. The fuck? I don't like this at all. This made no goddamn sense from a character standpoint. This dude had all the trust issues in the world based on this fucker. The moment he gets out of there and goes, it's your fault I was like that. But since I'm a hunter now, it's all good? No. I don't know if that makes Titley a shitty character or if that makes the plot line they're dropping that plot line or something. Like they were gonna make it a thing, and they said, nah, we're not gonna go down that road with Titley. I got better things, so we're just gonna resolve that really shitty. Either way, it's either bad character or bad plot. One or the other. So I don't like the way that went down. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I did not like this at all. So then we get to the next part of the chapter where Grimm asks Debonair, scenario, what are you talking about? Now Debonair is shocked by this. Philu walks up though at this point and says, Grimm, I'm a hunter in the guild now, right? So you can tell me what's the plan the guild has for exterminating all werewolves. We're all very interested. Grimm says, all right, it's going to go right into it. But Debonair says, but first, because now she's shocked by the whole, she doesn't know what the scenario means. But first, let's have some quick interviews. Kursa, Tapon, take care of it, okay? Yes, ma'am. Now these two show up. Okay, everyone gather around. And we're walking up. Huh? Weren't you taking the test too? Said, nope, they're both full-fledged hunters. And I heard somebody else call this that maybe some of the contestants are actually hunters in disguise, meant to like help out or test each other sort of idea. I wasn't 100% on that, so I never really brought it up myself, but I heard the theory. It wasn't a bad theory, and clearly it was the case. Not that it really mattered in the long run. But yeah, so I had them play the part to observe your behavior. She says sorry, and then the bigger guy says, let's chat while we wait. We'll discuss the secrets the guild discovered about werewolves and the plan that has been put in place to eradicate them all once and for all. So this is where Debonair and Grimm take off. Says, hey Grimm, come to my room for a sec. She says, okay, and they walk forward. Philu notices, but whatever. Now the Ironworks, 3 months and 12 hours after departing Borderport, the Ironworks reached the final destination. The island recorded on no map. Looks extremely cool, all twisty and stuff. You guys gotta check it out. It looks really cool. The site, Citadel Hunter Headquarters. This is where we jump back to Cinderella over here, and she notices, as she's just flying in the air, she notices a letter in her sleeve. And she pulls it out and thinks, a letter? Shows it, I am Lycon. This letter was protected. If you read this and know not who I am, and do not see an enormous werewolf by your side, then kill that man immediately and steal back his pages. And in walks the mayor. Now, this is really cool because is Lycon a real, like he's a werewolf, but this was in his humans. He goes, I am Lycon. If you read this and do not recognize that name, you don't know who I am, and do not see an enormous werewolf right beside you right now, then you need to kill the mayor and take back his pages. Once again, we're going into this fourth dimension shit. We're going into the fourth wall breaking stuff. And this intrigues me so much about Hunter's Guild Red Hood. I haven't been this intrigued in a manga in a long time. It's like, where is this going? What are the rules? So, by the looks of it, there's a book that's writing the world as we speak. They're writing the future. They're writing the present and the future. But if you can get your hands on a page, you can change the past, which alters the present, which changes the future. We're changing up things. There's so many unlimited potentials. I hope that the system works well. I hope it's not just open-ended, anything can happen. But I do like the idea that this is what we're going for here. Like they're writing the Grimm's fairy tale, Grimm's fairy tales, right? I think that just seems really, really cool to me. So then he shows up, and then we get Cinderella here going, his true goal is, and we never read the rest of it. We never hear the rest of it. It says, you're kidding me. That old coot, now he's done it. So now we have Cinderella crying. Maybe she does not still remember who Lycon is, but she's read the letter and she clearly believes it. This is where, and we're seeing like she's sort of like Debonair, like she's heating up or something. It's very strange. This is where Debonair and Grimm are walking down the hall, and Debonair says, so yeah, what's the word bug mean to you, by the way? And Grimm says, insects. And then she says a bunch of other words. Do these words sound familiar? And Grimm's like, what? He says, the cat has taken over the bed. Don't move him off. Why not? What are you going on about, says Grimm. What's the point in these questions? Debonair says, damn it. Puts her on the couch, says, lie down over there, and picks up the phone and says, it's Debonair. Patch me into HQ. Grimm of the 100 Cannons has had her memories manipulated. I need a response team here stat. So that she recognizes this problem. These are probably code words and stuff. She's supposed to be able to ask these questions like, oh, if I say, the cat has taken over the bed, don't move him off, why not? She's supposed to come up with like the password answer, the password question. This is to prove whether memories, this has probably been going on because they know about the book. They know about the book, they know about the missing pages that the mayor has apparently and stuff like that. There's a lot of shit going on and the hunters are aware of this. So they have some type of response team to deal with this situation. How they fix it, we don't know, because HQ responds and says we can't enact that protocol at this time. Orders have come down to quarantine the ironworks. Our top priority is to protect the book. The book, as I said, if this is somebody writing a story in universe, right? And everybody's a pawn, everybody's a character in this book. So we're enacting an anti-corrosion protocol instead, a strict level 5. Then we meet Dut Trodio, the Hunters Guild Collections Department Director, saying, I'm hanging up now. And he's smoking a pipe. He's looking pretty cool. Debonair says, what in the blazes, what is happening right now? So then we jump back to the group of people, right? We jump back to the other group. And they say, so basically werewolves have lycanthropy, which is a type of disease. When enough of these things known as genetic factors build up in the body, the person will then transform. Beetle says it's a disease. And then the other guy says, it's a disease. If it's a disease, we can concoct a cure. Once a werewolf has eaten a human, they can't turn back. The guild is currently researching that in the quest to create an antidote, a sovereign remedy that will prevent the transformation altogether. Because even when they have the disease, if we can have an antidote for the disease, get everyone inoculated, anti-vaxxers would fucking hate this idea. Of course they would. They'd rather their people they would rather their children devoured by werewolves, knowing anti-vaxxers, I'm not sticking that needle in my arm. I'm going to turn into a werewolf and kill my own children. Sure, whatever. That's the anti-vaxxer for you. But that's what they're trying to do. This is actually a very smart idea. They're not killing all the werewolves or anything, technically. They're trying to save everyone potentially who's going to become a werewolf. Then they stop lichens altogether, then they kill the remaining werewolves. It's actually not a bad plan. Said, so we'd love it if you'd catch one alive, or at least bring us a werewolf corpse to analyze. Grim usually winds up blowing them to bits. Excuse us, are we doing the interviews here or on the island? And then the other hunter says, this is Ironworks, what? Quarantine order? I don't know, they're saying we're staying on standby for a while. Then we see a mysterious figure writing in a book with a quill. And the Hunters Guild Underground Office number 7 of all places. Sort of looks like that place in the Dark Knight, like Batman's, while Wayne Manor was still being built sort of idea. Walks in and says, what's happening? This wasn't a scenario. Once again, the word scenario coming up again. Written into the true book. And this is where the hooded figure responds and says, things will happen that weren't written. That's no surprise. But Grimm's situation is different. Someone other than I is editing the outline. Editing. See, all these key words all coming together. Oh no, the 2 ripped pages. But who? Whoever does the writing doesn't matter to whoever does the reading. The true book's blank pages are the future. The words in it set the laws of nature and build the structure of the world. Like this is actually so intriguing. Like nobody understands half of it yet, and we're not meant to, right? This isn't like the long-winded explanation. Here's how the true book works. Here's what happens when you write something down on a page. Here's what the main goal of the Hunters Guild. We're having none of that information. We're just getting these little nuggets, these little tidbits to go, I don't understand how this is working yet, but it's intriguing, and that's what's happening right here. That's why I'm reading this chapter, because I have no idea how this works. None of us do yet. And it's really, really interesting, because then the hooded figure says, 13 years ago, someone ripped out 2 pages, only 2, and disappeared. Now those pages are taking effect. And then, Philo meets the mayor. Just randomly, we keep jumping back and forth here. It seems like a really long chapter. There's a lot. Well, it's not an overly long chapter. There's just a shit ton of stuff going on. There's the mayor. It's a beautiful scene where Velos is mayor. But everyone's like, who are you? Not a camp hopeful, that's for sure. Who are you? Vila runs right up, though, and says he isn't an enemy. He's the mayor. He's my family. He saved my life. He runs up to him crying. How are you still alive? Am I dreaming? Are you a ghost? And he's just thinking about it. I thought you got eaten by a werewolf in the mountain hut. And this is where the mayor says, "I'm sorry I caused you grief, but that death was faked. It was a necessary deception." And at first I'm thinking, oh shit, is this going to be some goddamn, like, Eisen stuff? Like, Momo, I'm so glad I had to deceive everyone. Shing! Like, is he going to kill Vilu or something like that? But no, he says, I had to do it if I'm going to drag Grim the Red Hood out of her role and crown you, the Hunter Vilu, as the main character in her stead. Wait a minute now. So, Grim was, apparently, this means that Grim was the main character of the story. And that makes sense. But for some reason, the mayor needs Grim out of there and Vilu as the main character now. We don't know what that entails. We don't know what the immunities, the vulnerabilities, what that entails to become the main character in the true book yet. I would assume some form of plot armor that will protect Vilu. But why does the mayor need Vilu instead of Grim in there? We don't know yet. This is all so interesting. This is a fantastic chapter. And then Vilu says, what? I don't understand what you're talking about. Once again, we get the red smoke where with this, everything will finally be complete. Now we see the space, like they were able to transport to the ironworks that quickly. Now they're going to the underground office number 7 where the director and the hooded figure are writing in the book. And then they just step right through. The director's like, who's there? And the mayor, we don't see the reaction from the hooded figure yet, but the mayor shows up and says, it's been a long time. But how about I tell you a story? I love that it's all these, everything connects back to the words that mean writing. Books, pages, scenarios, story, like writing, like all these words, all these terms are being utilized as serious business. And I just think it's so intriguing. It's so cool. I haven't read something like this before. And then the mayor says, looking very intimidating, says, long, long ago, dragons flew the sky, but the hunters exterminated every last one of them. The beginning all coming right back. That's a story that I wrote 500 years ago. End of chapter. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but all I can say is, wow. This was really cool. This was, I already talked about all the stuff, so this is basically the end of the review because there's more of a read-through as I talk about the things that I liked and the things that are intriguing me right now, as you guys know. But honestly, like, how do you not love this chapter? I think it's the best chapter of this week by far. It's better than Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Dr. Stone, Ayakashi Triangle, There's No One Piece, JJK. This is the best chapter of the week, I think. It's building up the most hype. We're getting a lot of plot points. It's just a great chapter, in my opinion. It's a really solid chapter. There's a couple of nitpicks, like is it a perfect 11 out of 10 or anything like that? No, but there's so much hype and there's so much, like, plot, like, just oozing, just ready to burst, you know, just to, like, explain it all to us, you know what I mean? So I just really enjoyed the chapter. I hope you guys did too, but let me know what your guys' thoughts were, because we're going to go down the 4 tenets of your host with the most. Like, comment, subscribe, and the 4th and most important one, drink responsibly. As always, as I always do, and we will see you guys back here next time for Chapter 16 of Hunter's Guild, Red Hood. Great series. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. We'll see you back here next time. Peace out.